That's going to block.
This is the Black Powder Podcast, coming at you live and direct. Your salty tears season my life. It's the Black Powder Podcast.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus. I am a libertarian, and this is the Black Powder Podcast. Thank you for watching us tonight.
Way to make this the most socially awkward, which is very libertarian of you.
Well, I want to appeal to all
podcast.
our autism listeners, because
The Tylenol.
the Tylenol babies. This is the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast in the world. And today, I'm Marcus Matthews, obviously the only real libertarian. And today I'm joined by my fellow patriots, my friends in liberty. I love these men in every way, shape, and form possible. Eric Parker. Let's just leave all the options open until we get through this podcast tonight. Eric Parker, Bold Liberty.
I'm gonna close the door to several options right now. But I love you too, Marcus, in the non-homoerotic way. Not that there's a problem with that.
Not that there's anything the matter with that. And then
But,
we have our good friend out of Florida, Mr. Tubbs. How you doing, Tubb?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, yeah, we're all gonna go a little tism tonight.
Very, very white of you.
Listen, remember that's what I was going to do when I was the guest. I was supposed to be like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
yes.
No.
And,
No.
and then stare away. Just be like,
Yeah. Are we done yet?
like TikTok. We're like 10 minutes in. We're good, right? We're all set here. Dude,
Yeah.
one night we should do that to whoever's coming on and give them no heads up.
Like,
And-
just, no.
I can
Like,
think of
be
a guy I
weird?
want to do that to.
Who?
Whoa.
I can.
Who's-
I don't want to ruin it. I'll tell you
All right,
guys
we'll talk offline.
offline.
Listen, nobody watches this show. You can say it. Listen,
That's a load of malarkey.
For the
got
record, there's
my-
probably at least 8 people watching right now of Raw.
can
We-
y'all see how many people are currently? Because where do you guys
Yes.
watch this at? Like,
Current.
I'm watching
This
it on
was on-
StreamYard. What do you mean? Like,
No,
I'm
no, no,
watching
but-
this thing.
like you never keep like the app open, like one of the apps open as it's
No,
on.
I forgot.
No,
to
I can
share
see.
this.
Eric didn't share on StreamYard like he was supposed to. And right now we're
I
on
can still
Facebook,
do it.
YouTube, and X. And
Okay,
we're
so
steadily
how-
climbing plus 20 people.
Where do you see comments from?
I have all the administrative malarkey over here on my end.
So you
Tom,
can see
if
from
you
all
did
the
this-
platforms.
I can see everything.
Okay, so where did she just put that up from?
She is on X.
That's it next to her name. It's got
Hey, Amity.
next to her picture.
And I'm
Oh,
her
right down
favorite
Okay, I see what you're
libertarian.
saying.
You see
Listen,
the logo in the bottom corner of her picture?
I see it. All right, shut up.
Hey, we're not going to have no W on
Yeah.
W violence on this
Listen,
podcast.
what's up, my friends? And
Yeah.
Marcus,
Wow.
which is odd because
Yeah.
Free and I aren't friends.
I thought you guys were. Every time you go over there, you lose on purpose on this show.
I've only been on there once, and I don't know that it was on. Listen, you know what's okay? Because I don't meme well. Like I just don't. I take memes like if I see a meme, I take it too literal. Like I'm horrible at it. And so here's what's funny: they had the one up for Killdozer, and I was doing so bad on there. And when they brought up Killdozer meme there, I says, "Oh, that's me." Whenever I get all the addresses of all these people who are watching right now, and it only made it worse.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's gonna help
You
out.
did-
It tanked quickly. Literally tanked.
You're not a real
quickly.
libertarian. You are
That's
not a
fine.
real.
Listen, I'm not even sure anymore if being like you're saying I'm the only true libertarian, like that's a badge of honor. And I'm thinking, I don't think it is.
I'm the king of tism, and that's what you have to be.
And there's the issue right there.
Yeah.
So we should probably get
like
away from
racism
and get something productive.
Okay. So this is another episode along the same lines we've had for the last 3 weeks, where we're bringing the candidates for LNC chair on because the Libertarian Party is at a crossroads, and it's time to expand our tent and get up on that national stage and tell people why we are the best party. And today we have a gentleman from the great state of North Carolina, to which Eric fouled with his presence. Should have stayed in North.
He couldn't be Florida man anymore. He couldn't hang, and so he went somewhere he could be more like a mountain man. Like mountain. Hey, can we make Eric our mountain man?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'm in the foothills.
He's our Appalachian man, our mountain man.
Hey,
without further ado, we have Rob Yates from the great state of North Carolina.
How's it going?
I can't hear Marcus.
You can't hear me?
It's usually good.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you, Marcus.
All right, go out, come back in.
Eric, can I hear you?
I can hear you.
I'll be back.
Why do you do this? He does this every time.
It's weird that it
when
only
we bring
does
somebody
it when
in.
someone jumps in or leaves from live that he's in. And I
it's
know
a new hat too, Amity. See, you like it?
Vote nice. Libertarian.
What's can you tell us more about the hat, Rob?
I get a lot of criticism from Amity and Free on my hat selections.
Why? I like that hat. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm trying to give them some style. We're working on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a stretch for Free. So, at any rate, Eric.
All right, Tub, can you hear us now?
Yes, that's why my face went, oh.
Oh, man.
Oh.
All right.
And Tub,
boomer moment.
If you look on the right side of the screen, you can see all the comments.
Yeah.
If I do what?
Just look on the right side of the screen. See where it says private chat and then comments and then recording. Click on.
Oh, I can do that down here.
Don't do it because
hang on. Like if I do, but I can't. But when I do that, I can't see y'all. Which that might be just as well also.
What?
Yeah, it's fine.
I give up then.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, I don't use. Hey, I don't use it on a computer. I use a tablet.
Another cool Modi reference.
Listen, hey, Free. He mentioned. Listen, we're supposed to be focusing on Rob here, but that Marcus mentioned before we came on that you referred to him as uncool Modi, and that's pretty legit. That's pretty solid.
That's too legit to quit. Wrong guy, but you get
very much wrong guy. Way wrong guy. But listen, but hey, Marcus, are you black enough to remember when MC Hammer wasn't soft and he wasn't a sellout? He was actually pretty decent.
Oh, yeah. And then all the at his concerts started looking like you. And
I got to say, before we were sort of just chatting, and Tub was like talking about what his black card is. And if you're coming with MC Hammer, that explains a lot.
No, hold on.
I brought up
Eric. Eric brought MC Hammer. Let's be very clear.
Explains
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I went in direction of. I started with Cool Mo D. But now listen, if we're gonna have this conversation, if you're in for this, I'm gonna tell you right now, and the conversation's done. The best rapper of all time is Rakim.
Black Thought.
Done. Rakim. Done.
Black Thought has all of it.
I'm gonna say
freestyle, flow, voice, rhythm. He can do spoken word. I'm not saying he has the best songs, but he's the best MC of all time.
Well, I will say this.
Vanilla Ice?
You know what? I'm gonna mute your mic if you ever say something like that again, Vanilla. But to Rob, before we pass it to Eric and we get to you, I actually opened for the Roots one time,
that's
and
incredible.
It was incredible.
Open the door as they were coming into the restaurant?
I was on stage being an MC, homeboy.
Hey.
All right,
Eric. I rapped on stage with Nappy Roots. Anybody remember them?
Yeah,
I saw them like
and
3
you're
years
lying.
ago.
Yep. So,
All right, Eric.
What you
get on
want
my
to
level.
do? Nothing.
I was
What you gonna
breakdancing
do?
in the background of an LL Cool J video.
There you go.
I'm lying, which I
Were
think
you a cop?
which I think the rest
No.
of you are also.
No.
He wasn't
I
around the way,
I
girl.
freestyled with the Black Eyed Peas.
Nice.
All right,
So-
come on.
Free
This is
Fergie
out
when
of
it was
hand.
Kim Hill.
All right, we can name drop all night long.
I feel like
only
I feel like
Oh,
I'm the
yeah?
only one.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm the only one being honest by saying I was lying. I feel like I'm the only one.
No. Well, I
I
don't
wasn't
think
lying,
anyone else is lying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric, do what we're supposed to do then.
All right. Hey, Rob. Nice to meet you. No, I'm just kidding. We've met. If you wouldn't mind, we're trying to be the super awkward podcast. I'm just kidding. If you wouldn't mind letting us
So we
know,
already
like,
did that.
we asked you this question during the debate, but for those that are tuning in or didn't get a chance to watch the debate or forum, whatever you want to call it, that we did with you guys, what do you remember when you realized you considered yourself a libertarian, and also when did you decide to join the Libertarian Party? And 3-part question. I know it's a lot. We can come back and ask it again if you need to. What made you decide to run for chair of the Libertarian Party?
So I'm one of the few that I've always been a libertarian. Coming up, my parents were sort of old school Republican, small government, accountability, your rights matter. And I agreed with those. And I got to high school. I went to a Catholic high school, and it was very Republican. And I'm really not like a big gay rights activist or a big weed legalization activist. Obviously, in favor of both, but there are other issues I consider much more important right now. But the hypocrisy of like, we believe in personal accountability and small government, but you can't enter into essentially a contract with another consenting adult because they're the same gender, or we're going to put you in a cage for decades for smoking weed. And I just could not square that in my mind. And then in 1998, I heard, you may have heard of this guy before, a Dr. Ron Paul.
Who was that? I'm trying to take notes. Who was that?
Remind me to Google him.
But he was speaking on floor talking about blowback and his anti-war stuff of 98. And it was like, I say this a lot, but it really felt like the clouds parted, because I've always been political. I've always been into it. And it was like, wow, these are exactly the things I think. So I got to college. I was in college during September 11th, got involved in a lot of anti-war activity. My college had Reason magazine at the library, and I would go and read it there every time a new episode came out. Like, Nick Gillespie's like a hero of mine. I loved Reason for a long, long time. I'm still a subscriber to Reason. I still read every episode or every edition cover to cover. But when I got out of college, so a couple things. One, I got married like a year and a half after college, and we moved to Hong Kong for a couple years, which made U.S. political activism a little more difficult. And I was still sorry, I thought that was going to be a sneeze. It turned into a call.
Caught all of us off guard.
So I was working remotely from Hong Kong at an investment advisory firm, and when I got back, they I don't know if they had been before, if it was official, but they became they went under the jurisdiction of the Investment Advisor Act of 1941, which means that it was really, really difficult. Like, any political activism or money that I gave, we had to document like every single thing and turn in the reports to the SEC, and it was a big pain in the ass. So I was there for a while. I was living in Virginia, but registered independent. There was no Libertarian Party on the ballot at the time. Moved here in 2011, registered Libertarian, and as soon as I left that company and started working at Bank of America, I started giving money and getting a little more active. And then when COVID hit, so I got 2 kids, and I was just like, I've been doing too much from the background. Like, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if we have a chance, but I'm a terrible father if I don't try to leave my kids the country that I got to grow up in. And so that's when I got really active, started going to protests, starting getting involved in the parties, helping out. on administrative stuff, taking positions in the party, running for office, and just been doing more and more since. And I want to run for LNC chair because so I don't like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty cocky, but I think fairly honest with myself. So like, there's things I'm good at, there's things I'm not. There's no ego. I'm happy to bring in people who are better than I am at certain things. But one thing I am really good at is like bringing people together and identifying what people are good at and helping them succeed in those roles. And I think that those are just two natural skills for running the party, especially right now. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I will come to the top and I will change the party, but I really believe what I can do is get people motivated and excited to succeed again and put people in positions where they will succeed.
That's very similar to my premise behind starting this podcast, because I wanted to lift people like Tub, Eric, not to a certain extent. Eric he's doing very well for himself, but I have a soft spot for people like
I'm doing
Tub.
pretty okay.
And so that's why I brought him on here, to lift him up and to show the libertarian, to show Americans.
There can't be normal libertarians. That's why you brought me on to show
There's libertarians of all stripes. And
some normal, others like Marcus.
But yeah, that's admirable. Like I always say, I really thank the people that run for office, everybody but Tub. I thank you all for showing up and doing something, and not just sitting here complaining about stuff and making memes and not putting your time and money where the cause is. So with that being said,
you just described yourself there, Marcus. Let's be very clear. You just said, hey, I want to make sure everybody's not like me, basically, is what you said.
Marcus has given a couple dollars here or there.
Marcus does throw some money around, yes.
Yeah, I'm baller like that.
All right, so anyway, do we have any comments we need to cover real quick, Marcus, before I move into mine?
Yeah, you got the comments?
We got Tub for 10.
There you go.
We'll get to that at the end of the show. We'll talk about that. Other than that, somebody said,
I know I put one up
all
myself.
kinds of stuff. I do feel like they're just having sidebar conversations in our comments.
There's a lot.
You know what?
Awesome. I love it. Keep it up.
You know what we have to start including? Like, let's make sure we move this forward, and we can start it tonight with Rob if we want to. Like, let people ask a question specifically to Rob. Whoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that way, there maybe in between our questioning, we can kind of insert that in and let them ask a question directly.
Word, yeah.
I'm just producing.
That being said, Tub, do you have a question?
Yeah, here you go.
So I actually have I look, 4 things already written down, but I'll start with the one that we discussed beforehand, because I remember you said you specifically wanted to get into this, and that was, what is your 6-point plan to fix the party?
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up so you can ask me follow-up.
Is it on your website?
It will be tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually, I've been promising it since Saturday. I feel bad, but I just finished today with all the fine points. So I call it the 6 Pillars of Liberty plan. So I right when I got back from Hong Kong, I write for a living, and it's like investment writing, finance writing, and now I do a lot of other stuff. But I was working as the head of publications and global content manager for this company, and I got put on the management track, and you had to take this management course. And the guy, I don't know why I remember his name. It was like 22 years ago, but Dr. Maury Kramer. And the class was okay. We went, 8 or 10 times, but the very first thing he said has always stuck with me. He said, if it's not your number one priority, it's not a priority. Now, I don't 100% agree with that, but I very much agree with the sentiment. The tricky thing with politics is that if you only prioritize candidates, for example, then you don't have membership growth and fundraising. If you only prioritize membership growth, then you have a lot of people. And I agree. Maybe that's what I'll write if I win. That'll be my memoirs. You 3 can be 3 of the pillars. It'll have to be just Marcus, though, I guess, right?
That's not good. Listen, you might want to take that one back.
No.
We'll be the cornerstones holding Marcus up.
Proceed, my good man.
So what I tried to do is whittle down what are the key things that we can do to push the liberty movement forward. I think more importantly, because I do think the party is subservient to the overall liberty movement. Like, if we had everything we wanted and the Republicans and Democrats held like a popularity contest that didn't affect us, I'd be fine with that. But the party is a very important vehicle, and it has the biggest role by far right now in driving the liberty movement. And so the things I came up with were fundraising, gotta have money, structural reform and operations. So this is everything from IT and data and databasing, having the right systems and vendors in place, all the way down to significant bylaws reform. Membership growth, and that's 4 parts: activism support, affiliates coordination, targeted recruitment, and youth outreach. Candidate, campaign, and electoral success. So not just winning legislation or direct races, but putting plans in place so that people understand election cycles and how to run over multiple times over many years. Public relations and marketing. And this is one that I would very much spearhead myself. This has been my whole life, and I have a whole lot of ideas how to push this forward. And then parallel systems, which is actually, I've talked to Jim Ostrowski a good bit. I like the dude. I don't think that his direct action plan is the right way to go forward solely, but this is very much in line with what he wants to do, because I feel like if you want people to walk away, you have to overcome that cognitive dissonance. Like, you have to give them something worthwhile to walk away to.
Awesome. We have a question, Tub.
Okay.
And this is from one of the most awesome libertarians I know, Terry Batts. She says, Rob, what do you see in the future for the Libertarian Party? More unity or less? What can you do to help bring the party together? What ideas do you have for that arena?
Good job.
That's how she talks. Yeah.
So
you see, you're not sounding out the words.
I was counting. I was using my fingers to count
syllables.
But you're for the Tea Party.
All
right. No, that's good. That's really good. So I may have told this story before. I apologize if you've heard it, but so like one of my guilty pleasures, and this is years ago because this show's gotten redundant, but I used to watch the show Married at First Sight a lot. And it was just wild to me. Like, a couple would meet at the altar. They'd pick 8 couples, this panel of experts, and they would meet at the altar and they'd get married. And then the reality show would follow them around for 8 weeks. And at the end of the 8 weeks, they decide if they wanted to stay together. There's a lot of psychology, a lot of philosophy behind the show that I found fascinating. But one of the quote unquote experts was this guy, Pastor Cal. And he came and spoke at Bank of America. And so I made sure to get a pass. I was there early. I was right up front, and I got to sit down next to him, and we chatted for a while. And he's a really smart dude, really interesting dude. Marcus, he's not white, FYI.
Thank you.
Now, what he say is that just raised his hand and made you look even dumber for the black community.
No, so far he's my favorite libertarian pastor. How about that?
Listen, you didn't say he was a libertarian, you idiot.
He's
Not
just
even paying attention.
He's a
from a
libertarian.
reality show.
All right, back to you, Rob. I'm sorry for the.
Thanks for not listening at all, Marcus.
He's a libertarian.
So we were talking in particular about the show and the nature of arranged marriages, and it turns out, and I verified this, so quote unquote love marriages fail at about 50%. So like we all know, divorce rates are bad in the US. Whereas arranged marriages succeed at something like a 93% rate. And even when you adjust for like really patriarchal cultures or places where women don't have rights, it only falls to like 79%. And he was saying that the reason for this is that in a love marriage, the goal is the marriage usually. People start dating, they fall in love, they plan to get married, and then they've achieved their goal. And after that, everything is individual goals. There's no refocus to these goals together. Whereas in arranged marriages, they come together and they're pursuing a goal together. We're going to have this many kids. We're going to achieve these financial metrics at this point in time. Our kids are going to go to these schools. I think to bring the party together, we need to be working toward clearly defined goals, and we need to have a pathway to success. There is nothing that brings people together more than success. I was joking with Marcus before because he's a Cowgirls fan, and I'm a
Deadskins. Yeah.
I'm a Washington fan. But 2 years ago, like after 12 years of Dan Snyder, we're like these miserable, dejected fans, and all of a sudden we get Jane Daniels and we go on this run. We're winning every game. All of a sudden, like all of my burgundy and gold blood was flowing hard again. But it's because we were succeeding, and it's easy to get behind success. The party needs a few wins, and people will be motivated and inspired. If we are continuing to fail, that's just going to further the division. You're just going to see finger pointing and blame.
Okay, so right there you said that for the party to have success. What are you defining though as success?
So that is the perfect follow-up question, and I've built this into the plan. It's going to be a little Tylenol American. Like, I want real key performance indicators, real KPIs. Like, let's look at our budget. How do we want to grow? What do we need to make the whole data infrastructure better? Okay, that's going to cost $3 million over 4 years. So to do that, we need to be making an additional $10,000 a month by this time, 14 months out. And I'm not necessarily saying that's it, but I'm just saying we need this roadmap of like, these are the metrics we have to hit along the way, and we need to be very public about it. We need to have this many people elected, this many state affiliates running 50 candidates. And as long as we continue to either come close, hit, or surpass those metrics, then we are achieving the success.
All right, do me a favor. Put some numbers on what you just said. Like, how many people in office? How many candidates for, like, what? Give me numbers.
Sorry, my wife's bringing me water.
No, you're good.
Thank you. So I really
Ballpark it. No,
because here's why I say this, and think about it for a second. So here's why I say this, because we throw this out there, we go, oh, we just need to have more. Okay, so what does that even mean? What's more? And then at that point right there, there's nothing that we can go to you after your first term and go, hey, you said more. Is one more, or is 600?
Sure, of course. So the only reason I hesitate on that is I don't want to put numbers out without talking to the rest of the LNC that I'd be working with, and sort of make it like I'm holding them to that. But I could give a great example. So I think one less concrete metric for success would be to have a data infrastructure that every state and county affiliate is able to use easily, and they are in fact using it. And so we all have access to all the voter data, the fundraiser data, everything we need in the system for communication around that is efficient and effective for everyone. Another big thing I want to do is create a sort of like centralized candidate campaign hub. So we have more libertarians elected than people realize, and they're running some really good campaigns, and we have some really good people working behind it, and no one knows who they are. There's no way to get in touch with each other. We had Kara Schulz come to the North Carolina convention. She gave this amazing candidate presentation. Why is it that someone from California, Florida, North Carolina, and Maine and Iowa aren't able to easily reach out through someplace and say, hey, Kara, can we book you on this? What does it cost? Or how do we download one of these trainings? And then someone goes through it and they win a campaign, and it's like, I want to run for office, but I don't know anything about it. How do I get a campaign manager? Do I need a treasurer? Like, there's no connection there. So another big metric for success would be this infrastructure for that sort of communication.
All right, we have another question here, also from Terry Batts from the great state of Florida. She said I didn't do the last one with enough Southern accent, so
don't make it
go well. This is not
Rob.
You're just letting me read.
All right, go ahead then.
This is our last show. Thank you.
I can read it with a Southern accent without having to try.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, buddy.
But he's from Philly, so he might not be able to read it.
Hey, listen, Terry's talking here. Don't interrupt. Rob, would you consider having a state-by-state team of libertarian activists that actually work towards more libertarian-leaning bills and do battle against the government overreach type of bills?
So I think there's a twofold answer to this. The first one is we actually do have some of this going on, and it's very successful where it's targeted, but there's not a cohesive support structure. So like Defend the Guard has done some really good things in a few states, and I would love to see an expansion of things like that. The second part is under my candidate campaign and electoral success pillar. I've broken out 8 responsibilities that I think the LNC would have and 8 that each state affiliate would have. And so it is unrealistic for us to expect the national party to be aware of every bit of legislation going on in every corner of every state. But what the national party can do is create something along those lines of like a electoral success team. They can put together roadmaps, they can provide resources, there can be legal support, financial support if necessary. And then at the state level, it would be their responsibility to make us aware of this legislation as it comes to pass, to document their pursuit of passing or revoking, as it may be, the legislation, and creating an additional part of that database to help other states succeed.
Sweet. Eric, do you have a question before I go with my question?
No, I see one from D we kind of missed. It was a question after a comment. I don't know if you go back to the one from 9:19 p.m. I don't I just don't we don't gotta do it now, but
no, we did do that one.
You did I like Rob. I think he's a good communicator. Would Rob be more aligned with
my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead and finish reading it. D's awesome.
I think Rob could read it. I'm just kidding. Would Rob be more aligned with what the current LP is doing versus what the last LP administration was doing with the party? That's a vague, but maybe you could kind of give us what you think the current, and I think she means Stephen Nikela and the former under Angela McCardle. You don't got to get into the weeds as much as you want, but don't feel obligated.
So in terms of an influence strategy where we essentially sell, if you will, our support to whichever party goes in a more liberty-oriented direction and then punish that party in the next election if they don't follow through by not supporting them, I don't think in a vacuum it's a crazy strategy. The problem is you have to reliably control 10 to 15% of the vote every single time. And maybe in someday that becomes a feasible approach, but right now, like, I mean, we can't even agree. I don't know if y'all were at the last convention, but we argued for the entire first day about whether something required a majority vote or a 7/8 majority vote. Like, and now you want us to vote for the party that you tell us to vote for. The other, I think, big downfall with that strategy is that in terms of moving the liberty movement forward, perhaps there are applications there. Like I see the hat you're wearing, Eric. I'm also a big Thomas Massey fan. He's not perfect. We should stop looking for a savior. We need to dig ourselves out. But he is 10 giant leaps in the right direction. But the Libertarian Party is a political party that exists to further the libertarian movement within the political arena. And so I would be much more aligned with advancing the Libertarian Party as its own entity. And any accord with another party would be around a coalition for something specific, and that would not be limited. I would be just as happy to work with the Green Party on anti-war as I would with the Uniparty. Is completely useless, but I don't know, maybe the Forward Party on free speech or something.
All right, so what you said right there was the idea that, because we do know that during our last convention, I believe we sold out the party, in all honesty. Okay, now with that, remember during that whole process, remember it was the Free Ross Albright. And inside of that became a big thing for our party. And I'm going to be honest with you, I struggle with that because the purpose of a political party is not to get one person released from prison. So for you, because you were there, we went through the whole thing. So for you, do you think getting Ross freed should have been such a high priority for our party? And should we consider that a big win? And is that something, that concept is something you would consider moving forward with?
So I have to go a little consequentialist on this. For something like that, so first of all, let me say this. the fact that Ross is out of jail is magnificent. Like it is by in and of itself a wonderful thing, and I'm really happy it happened. And as terrible as Trump has been in every way, and I never supported Trump in any way. I did during the Republican primaries in 2016 because I was like, this is hilarious. But then I was like, wait a second, this
Like,
psycho.
wait a minute. It's only supposed to be
Wait a
funny.
minute. He's got a chance.
Yeah, all of a sudden it became around. I was, whoa. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's necessarily worse than Kamala would have been. I think she also would have been atrocious, and she just would have had a more adoring press, and Ross wouldn't be free. But maybe, I mean, Biden let Leonard starts with a P. How can I think of his name? The Native American activist out of jail. He pardoned him. Paranoid. God, as soon as we get off, I'm going to remember his name. But with the Uniparty, there's always tiny trade-offs. But no, I would never be in favor of like we should be wholeheartedly supporting this person for this one tiny thing that might happen. And if there is some opportunity to compromise in a way that gives us a big win that we can build off of, and that's what I meant about consequential argument, then maybe that's something to discuss. I'm never going to be dictatorial about it. I'd want to hear other people's opinions, but if it's like, hey, if we could do this thing, but then we could springboard and drive these results with it. Leonard Peltier, there it is. Thank you, Free.
So what if we had we'll say our presidential candidate, and our presidential candidate was running, and then there seemed like a chance for that they could end up, if they dropped out, they could have a cabinet position with the presumed winner of the election. Would you then as a party go, hey, this is a good win for us, let's drop our candidate and then we have this level of influence? Or do we stay focused on the candidate and say, hey, whatever with the rest of that?
So here's how I would approach that situation if I'm chair. I'm backing our candidate. I'm the chair, no matter what. If Thomas Massey is running as a Republican, I'm going to shed a tear and go back the Libertarian candidate no matter what. Should she or he make the determination that it was in his or her best interest to drop out and take the cabinet position, then I would back our candidate. I've run before. It is unbelievably stressful, and I can't imagine what a presidential race is like. And if that person came and said, hey, I can get a cabinet position for a Libertarian if I drop out, what do you think? I'd say, thank God that's not my decision to make. But I will support you in whatever you do, and I will continue trying to advance the party.
If that person decides to say, hey, I'm going to drop and try for that position, do you then suggest the party puts up another candidate?
And legally, can they?
I think that's state by state, isn't it? In North
Pretty
Carolina,
much.
they can.
Hey, we have a question. Speaking of Trump supporters, we're gonna go. She admitted it.
I know.
I just, Emily,
Hey, it's not near as bad as Eric being an Obama supporter.
Hey, can we stop bringing that up? I wasn't.
At least it was a brother. You did bring it up. Anyway,
a half brother.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, do you have anyone in mind for a comms director? I think it should be someone well-versed in meme creation.
I'm out. Yes.
Can I finish the last bit of Tubbs' question about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if someone dropped out, like, what should the party do? And I think this goes to a very critical core question the party is facing, which is resource allocation. We don't have the unlimited funds that the Uniparty does. So if we had a candidate who was prominent enough to warrant an invitation from the front runner for the presidential election to drop out and get a cabinet position, then I would probably be of the opinion that at that point, our resources were better expended supporting state level candidates. I mean, you'd have to look at the specific situation, but if we're 2 months from the presidential election, it's hard to justify spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars backing a candidate who has even less chance than our previous candidate. And as far as Amity's question,
yeah, go ahead.
If Amity wanted to become comms director, there's a few people I have in mind for some specific positions. I've talked to some of them offline. They've indicated interest. I have given them my blessing to go public with it if they want, but I'm not going to out anyone to imply some sort of tacit support without their go ahead.
I'm gonna out Tub today at some point. Out of him for what? It remains a mystery.
Hey, if you do that, I'm going to out you for something. I think we all know what you're still hiding.
All right, Eric, can you read this question from our good friend D for Rob?
Yeah, I think D's kind of got a southern accent. Here we go.
Yeah, there
Let's
you go.
say, let's say a great LP candidate is running for president in 2028. Would you ask them to back out and ask for a concession like the former chair has said on video at least twice? And y'all kind of alluded to that a little bit in Tubbs, a little bit different scenario, but go ahead, please.
The only situation I would ever ask a candidate to back out of a race, well, there's two. One is if that candidate was just terrible and hurting the party. Like, hey, look, sorry, but we got 86 this one. And the other is if like it was clearly having such a strain on that person's mental health that it wasn't worth it. Because if we really are the party that like cares about people, then that has to come first. Other than that, I would never ask a candidate to drop out of a race.
I like it.
Right. So somebody, D, as a Florida person herself, is trying to give Eric a little leeway to wiggle his way out of his dilemma. We're not going to really accept that, D.
No.
So, yeah, you can forget about it.
Yeah.
Listen, I like you, Larry Sharp, but that's
Listen.
Yeah,
I feel like we could all just. I was thinking, look, I'm going to say this on this one episode. It'll get dropped. No one will ever know it. If I decide to run for office, it'll never be used against me. But if y'all keep bringing it up, I'm never going to run for office again. So drop it.
Oh, my bad, homie. You know. And Amity says, for the records, she's volunteering.
But Amity, if you were comms director, I could put Free on your team. You'd be his boss.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And Grumpy No.
It's a good question, and I kind of got in a conversation with somebody about this one earlier today because but go ahead. He says, when did we have a great candidate? And I don't know that that was directed at anyone specifically, but Rob, what do you think the importance of the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party is? And is there a metrics for how you would consider them a great candidate? Let's do like, what do you think a great candidate is pre-convention and a great candidate post-convention? Can they be the same person?
So this is one where it's actually kind of a trap that we fall into, the whole party. Are we preset expectations and then try to force the situation to meet the expectation instead of adjusting? I always think, so again, Redskins fan, I know. And Steve Spurrier was like, I run an offense. I'm just the old ball coach and I run an offense. And then Coach K came out and was like, I run an offense and I make it work for the players that I have. And I think we need to do that. So a great candidate is one who runs a campaign that's appropriate to the situation. No matter what you think of him, Gary Johnson was a great candidate for that time. Yeah. And the returns were there. And we did fail to build on that. I personally think Justin Amash would be an incredible candidate. He knows the ins and outs of all of it. I would love to see him run. Have we ever had a great candidate? Well, yeah, several, thousands at the local level because they've gotten elected. A great candidate is one who ultimately can get elected, or if it is an office where the chances of election are, so you're saying there's a chance, can drive, huge vote totals, internet searches, membership growth, social media engagement, all the sorts of things that we can then take advantage of to grow the party in other areas later.
Now, D's saying Justin will not run. I actually think he would make a lot of noise in a race because there's going to be a disgusting hangover like we had for Biden, but this time it's going to be for Trump because he is becoming more senile by the day. Sorry for my Trump people, but he is. This Iran thing, there was not a clear exit strategy from Iran, and you could see that day to day, and it's more than obvious.
Dude, what are you talking about? We win that war every single day. It's the most successful war in history.
So somebody like Justin Amash with his credentials as being, he could be like, I told you this was not the guy when he voted for his impeachment. He knew what he was seeing. And if we had a realist up there that could present the case for libertarianism, vote libertarian. I think it would be awesome. He won't win. We got to be honest about that. But if we can get that 4.3 million, whatever Gary Johnson got, if we could start moving in that direction, that's a new foundation. Because basically, me personally, McCardle screwed it. She pretty much destroyed the foundation of this party, and we're starting over again.
I don't know about the foundation. The foundation's still there. We are the foundation.
Well, it's
libertarians are the foundation.
Cracked.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's honestly, if it was cracked or if it was damaged, destroyed, we still wouldn't be here. We would have left.
Right.
We would jump ship. You know what I mean? And we're still here.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like maybe not jumping ship, but the fact that we got beat by the Green Party and somebody who declared themselves out of the race, and Kennedy, we got beat by both of them.
Rob might not know this, but you guys know, like, I was a huge Justin Amash fanboy, and since Tubbs known me, he didn't know who Justin Amash was. I had to tell him. You know what I mean? And like, I stalked Justin Amash down at the Young Americans for Liberty just to get a picture. I was like,
he broke into his hotel room.
Yeah, I know. So now he's got a restraining order against me. I'm just kidding. He follows me on Twitter. I'm kind of a big deal.
Just to keep an eye on you. Like, hey, if you come near my house.
But like, I'm just saying, Amash would be great. In 2024, my top 3 was Amash, Spike Cohen, Larry Sharp, and the closest I got was Larry Sharp being the VP to Lars Mapstead. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I digress. Things didn't go that way. Let's work harder. Let's build the party. Go ahead, Tubb.
Can we, in a few weeks, have this conversation? Because this isn't necessarily just for Rob. This is hey, who are our top prospects, and we can have that conversation. Like, does that make sense? That we
let's drop it. Got it.
Because we only have X amount of time with Rob, and if we're going to focus on the idea of, hey, what can Rob do for the party?
All right.
So let me go back to Rob. Is what I'm saying. So inside of this. So I've often said that the party has this weird split inside, and I'm not talking about caucuses. What I'm referring to is candidates and activists, okay? Because it seems to be these two different sides of the party, and I think that depending on who the person is that's leading kind of puts the direction of which side they favor to. So because you've kind of been, seems like you've been both. You've been a candidate and an activist. Now, I have suggested that the best way to bring that together is to get these activists in place. I think we need to keep our activists active. And so I often say the best way to do that is have our candidates running locally and get those activists to go in to speak at city council meetings and basically cover the things that the candidate is running on and kind of do this. So do you agree that, yes, there is kind of this two-sided candidate versus activist, and how do you put them together to be effective for the party?
So I would actually expand on it a little bit, and maybe the chat can help me because I can't think of the guy's name, but he wrote that treatise on the 4 elements of a political party, and it's leadership, operations, candidates, and activists. And I fully subscribe to that. And I think one of the biggest structural issues with the Libertarian Party is that all of us are trying to do too many things. We're all activists. We all have podcasts. We all make memes. We're all running for office. We're all in operations. And when it comes back to that priority thing, when you're doing 100 things, you're doing nothing. So we need to have a structure that makes it easy for people to fall into the roles exactly as you described. You want to be an activist? Let's make it so you don't even have to think about candidates. Let's empower you to go to be the best activist you can and to help other people become good activists who want to go that pathway. And then if someone else wants to change, someone was a candidate, ran 6 times, didn't work out. Okay, maybe I'm better suited for activism. Well, hey, check it out. We have this exact guidebook for you to step in and hit the ground running, know exactly what to do. You don't have to relearn from the beginning. A functional operations team. We have plenty of people who just want to do IT, build websites, run phone banking or text banking, work with vendors. Let them do that. They don't have to do other things. and just make it very easy for people to fall into the natural roles that they intrinsically are good at or want to do.
Do you think it's the role of the party or even the chair to then maybe suggest to certain people, hey, dude, you're not a candidate. Let's kind of push you over here. Or do you kind of take this more hands off, like, hey, it's them to do, it's them to decide. We can kind of figure it out with them.
So I actually think that's one of the most important roles of the chair. And I would not discourage anyone from trying anything that they wanted to do at first, but I would be very quick to say, like, hey, I'm a fairly good judge of talent, and like, you're playing basketball. Yeah, you should be playing something else.
Now, actually, so I have this written down. And so how much of your own beliefs do you think? Go ahead.
For the record, Free, I don't think Duverger's law is inviolable. I don't think we will necessarily split into a duopoly.
Chubb didn't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, I'm like, what?
He's not in the comments. Was that the author of that?
But he started
Rob,
with page free.
you asked
so it's
for
like,
an
forget
author.
it. It could be anything. It doesn't make any difference. It's free.
Rob, was that just a response to the author that you said some stuff or wrote about leadership?
Oh, was that the guy who wrote those 4 parts? Interesting. I didn't know it was the same guy.
He did write according to Free. We got to take everything Free says with a grain of what's the smallest element in the universe? Whatever the smallest element in the universe, that's what we take all of Free's stuff with. Just kidding. The guy is smart. Imagine coming up with those questions twice a week. That's a lot of stuff.
I didn't realize that, though, because Duverger also wrote Duverger's law is that any sufficiently large voluntary organization will inevitably split into 2 polar factions.
Yeah, that pretty much happened last convention, if from what I heard. Yeah. So where were we?
Okay, so we did see. Okay, Marcus, you just said it. Kind of was there. We did see that with the former chair. Okay, we did see that it was a lot of her personal beliefs and what she wanted to do, and she used that to kind of steer the party. And some people would suggest that's why we elect leadership positions, so that they can. We agree with what they're saying, and we want them to do the things. So do you think, and we don't have to discuss her, like you personally, do you believe that, yes, once I get in that position, you put me here, so now I should be able to steer a little bit of what I want to do and what I think is important? And if so, what would that be?
So I would say that it's not so much what I want to do as it is how I want to do it. I'm being very clear on what I want to do, and I would suspect that aligns mostly with what people in the party would like to see happen. The real crux is, how do we do it? And if you're voting for me to do things my way, then I would want to do them my way. But a lot of what I want to do is empower people to be their best. Like, one person cannot save or change a party. I know Trump has this massive cult of personality, but there's tens of thousands of people with hundreds of millions of dollars backing him and making that machine go forward. If that's what we're competing with, I would try to be a very positive face of the party that I would, at least, if not proud of, that people weren't embarrassed of, I would try to uplift the Libertarian Party and all libertarians all the time, and really empower people, highlight successes, make people feel good, try to motivate them to keep going. We are functioning best as a party when all of the membership is enabled to perform at their highest level, not when the chair is doing his or her best job.
All right, we got this is, I'm sorry, but I love you, Rob, bro. This is a funny comment right here. Somebody's audio is feeding back. Maybe mute when Rob is talking. I mean,
Marcus, I don't
just
know
a little levity.
I could hear. I kind of hear. It kind of sounded like somebody had swallowed some helium and was talking in the background.
No, I mean, Free. He has that was just a funny comment to me. I didn't mean any insult to my guy Rob or anything.
But you did it. But you did it anyway, Marcus, because you suck your horrible host.
Literally, I think he's saying there's some audio feedback and
and everyone else should mute. I thought he was trying to tell me.
No, he said mute you while you were talking. And
no,
he's making
seriously.
sense. Yeah.
He's
No,
saying
not at
maybe
all.
mute when Rob is talking. He means everyone other than Rob. I actually muted because I could hear it. It wasn't me. It kept happening free. I got you.
Okay.
Hey,
I don't have
there
any
was a
microphones, so it's
question.
probably not me.
There was a question in
Well,
the chat from Terry about a weekly newsletter that I would love
Yep.
to address.
Oh yeah. Let's
I
get
was
back.
I was about to bring that up. Yeah, pull that up. It was
Like 9:45 ish.
Okay. Thank you for.
There you go.
I got all night if y'all want. I mean,
I'm good.
Tub's
So-
got a curfew, but I'm down for a little bit.
so this is actually a significant part of my public relations and marketing pillar. So I would love to get into this just a little bit. So the whole pillar is built around like what we call bold libertarian messaging. And that doesn't mean, just insulting each other and calling everyone on the internet horrible names, though that can be a fun part of it. It's what Ron Paul has done successfully for 40 years. Like take our messages and put them into this palatable, digestible way that people really respond to. Like, wait a second, that makes a lot of sense. Gary Johnson did it very well in a number of things, and it was simple. Like he spoke to people in a way that they responded to. Somebody said something about looking at Ross Perot type numbers. Ross Perot had a very simple message, but it resonated with people. He spoke in this direct way that they could, in between work and kids and school and whatever else people are doing. It was like, hey, that resonated with me. So we take this successful central messaging, and then we have to find the right channels to get it out there. So one big thing I really want to do is get a press liaison in congressional and White House press briefings. I remember during COVID, like all we did was watch the news because there was nothing else new coming out. And it was just like, oh, what restriction are they putting on us now? But do you remember when Jen Psaki would be talking and Peter Ducey would inevitably raise his hand and ask that one like banger question, and that's what was going viral the next day? And all I could think is like, how don't we have someone doing this? Like we have people with the real press credentials. So I looked into it, and it's not that difficult to get someone into those briefing rooms. That's a big thing I would like to see. I want to see a coordinated and consistent social media strategy from the party. So take the message around whatever's going on, put it in the format that's appropriate for whatever social channel you're using, whether it's video or, a quick sentence from Twitter to TikTok, and then push it. I want to see a weekly newsletter every Friday, probably. I don't know. I could be open to change on that, but I think Friday is good. A summary of what happened the prior week, a look ahead of what's coming up in the next week, and some successful things we're doing around the country and ways people can get involved. I want to see promotion of libertarian work. I want to go to the Libertarian Party website. I want to click on Libertarian Podcast, and I want to see Black Powder Podcast right there. Like I want everyone with a podcast that's doing things to get out there and be able to promote themselves. I want everyone writing newsletters, writing articles. I want it all archived in an easy way so that we can all interact with each other more. I want to start putting out weekly press releases. When I first became comms director for North Carolina, Karen Ann Harlos was kind enough to we reserved a half hour. She ended up talking to me for like 90 minutes about being a comms director. And one of the things she said is, put out a press release every week because you never know when news will be slow and it'll get picked up. We do it every 2 weeks usually. They're more expensive than I realized. But it has definitely worked. Like we've put out some press releases that have gotten a ton of traction just because that was the interesting thing for the news. I want to promote our events and activists doing good things. Like we were talking about before, you want to get activists involved, people who are naturally inclined to be activists and who would be good at activism. Let's show them how. Let's show them where they can connect. Let's show the successes we've had in the activist category. And then I want to see a much more substantial, that's so weird, Amity, because I was just about to say party branded and supported audio and video presence is a big part of it. So we have tons and tons. I mean, are you really libertarian if you don't have a podcast at this point? But you see things like the Reason Roundtable. Matt Kibbe does a good one. Lou Perez does a really good one. Obviously, Part of the Problem is popular. But we don't have anything with the LP logo on it. And it's not the party pushing these things. And that should be something that we are putting out on a weekly basis and then spending the rest of the week prepping for a good show for the next week. and taking really good cuts and putting those everywhere to promote the party.
See, that's what like we talked in the pregame. That's how Trump rode his
Sorry, I
wave.
forgot to say, are you smarter than a politician? I just hadn't gotten to the single best premier show to come out of the libertarian movement in the last 5 years.
You're on that right now, so
yeah.
you can just pump
You're
your
welcome.
brakes on that one. They were close
Their
second.
show. I was distinguishing between podcast and show on
Yeah,
purpose.
I got you. No, we consider them our sister show. You know,
Yes, sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
Little sister.
Free is my sister. At
Little
any rate,
sister.
but yeah, like we were talking about in the pregame, that's what Trump rode that wave into office because he was already a failed president. And I will say that to my dying day. He's the one that shut down the damn country, and then Democrats put the shutdown on steroids. I don't understand why people didn't understand that simple fact when they were thinking about giving this man another chance. And so we have to like speak to the people, and nobody like watches the news anymore. That's for boomers like Tubb and things of that nature. You know, Tubb's being the
You're
oldest
older
guy.
than I am.
At any rate, but we have to go to where the people are and speak to them there.
Well, they're not in your garage.
I am putting my garage. I'm putting my garage.
They're in Libya, right?
Yeah.
Listen, more people have been in Marcus's garage than they actually want to. You know.
Well, right now,
I don't even know what that means. I feel like there's another way to take that.
See, this is the problem with libertarians. We're not talking to the people that are sitting on the toilet doing their research. And that's what we have to do. We have to create content for toilet sitting and mad at the world, late night binge drinkers and stuff like that.
I thought that does sound like our audience. That does sound
I say
exactly
that in jest, but we actually have to start doing that. And we have to have a youth movement. I don't know if we're going to do like a Turning Point USA thing where we're on college campuses, but that's another thing. We have to start doing the formula that the duopoly is using, except we're coming with good ideas. They're just coming with fear. They're telling you why you should be scared of these people instead of, telling them why you should vote for me. And that's where I think the messaging, the Libertarian Party, I like what Rob was saying, especially about this podcast, because aside from Tubb, this is great.
Yeah, I think you should dump Tubb. He's going to bring the show down. Except for when you realize, hey, wait a minute, Tubb showed up. All right, so here's the thing. Rob, would you consider then that the party makes its own podcast? That the party says, hey, listen, this can be specifically the party. We're going to talk about solely what's happening this week or whatever that happens to be, that would help really push, not candidates, not like that, but push the party.
So really quick, Marcus, to your point, I actually, under my membership growth pillar, I have one of the 4 parts of it is youth outreach. And I specifically say, no matter what you think of Charlie Kirk, you can't deny his success. I would love to see a program like that. And then Tubb, to what you're saying, I envision it as more something like LP Media or something like that. And it would be multifaceted. So there would be a show, maybe a couple smaller podcasts or live stream spaces, whatever communication vehicle is going to deliver the highest return on investment. But that would very much be the intent, is like, this is LP branded, LP driven. We look at current issues through a libertarian lens from the perspective of the party, and then we put that out there.
Yeah, I think that you could really focus on current events, like daily to this week, and go, hey, and give the libertarian perspective specifically, as opposed to, these shows that kind of find their own topics, and they kind of, like even us, like we've kind of focused on candidates a lot lately, but it's not about that. It's about, here's what's going on in the news, here's what the libertarians believe, and it would have to basically follow the party lines.
And I think it's an opportunity to highlight the fact that we, believe it or not, are capable of reasonable disagreement too. So like the immigration issue is equally polarizing within the party as it is without. But I think there's a wide range of perspectives that aren't insane. So I believe in the free movement of peaceful people. I don't think government intervention in immigration is a positive thing. I go right now by the Ellis Island solution. So if we have to have a state and borders, then the responsibility should be to keep criminals out. But I also think it is equally unsavory what the Biden administration did, where they're essentially importing people and paying them to come here, and they're this huge drain on welfare. And we could have, when immigration was a big topic, a discussion that starts from that and like really break out all the perspectives from the libertarian viewpoint, and then look at some of the knock-on impacts. Like the truth is, none of this is about immigration. It's about flock cameras and Palantir and creating this central database and getting people accustomed to seeing stormtroopers in the street taking out Americans, and it was very successful. We have completely missed that opportunity to talk about that at a national level. Now we are talking about Palantir, sure, but we're not tying it together, and you're not creating. If you really want to change people's minds, you need to make multiple connections in the brain to sort of create again that cognitive dissonance and then bring them over.
Well,
So do you think? Go ahead.
yeah, real quick. Palantir popped into my. I have a large cranium. Popped into my head a couple weeks ago, and I Googled who does Palantir have contracts with. And if you look that up, you'll see it'll break it down into two sections: major contracts and lesser contracts. The lesser contracts are all with private companies doing AI modeling on, trying to improve their business.
Block ring cameras.
Yeah. All their major contracts are with mainly the U.S. government and a few other governments around the world. Palantir is the Antichrist. Well, they're part of the Antichrist, if that's a word, his crew. I know Tubbs getting a little upset with me, but no, it's just devious, demonic crap that Palantir is doing to destroy liberty. If you look at what their contracts do, this is nothing more than an invasive probe into your nether regions without the courtesy of a reach around. That's what Palantir does.
You're not even kidding. And
no,
the Uniparty's MO is they create a boogeyman and they drive as much fear around it as they can. And then they tell people the only way to save you from this thing we've created is violate more of your liberties. And we don't have a successful or effective apparatus in pushing back on that. So when we get too into the weeds on simply the merits of more or less immigration, we all of a sudden lose the entire plot on the surveillance state side. And having this LP media could very much coalesce around this idea of centralized messaging. And then that's the conversation we're having.
Precisely. Tub.
All right. So as we've seen in the past, and I question the idea because I've never been part of a caucus. Because there's always have the carcasses. Actually, that works too. So out of the caucuses, I found of the two major ones, I can find things in both sides that I can agree with and be against. But we have seen the detriment it's done to the party, especially as bringing us all together. And I've often said that sometimes our party is so small, I don't know if caucuses help us or not. But they're there. Like realistically, and just as it seemed like the one caucus seemed to be dying off, it looks like they're trying to make a resurgence again. So as the chair, I truly believe it does fall onto you to find a way to bring them all together. Now, I'll give a brief shout out to my boy Spike and like what he's done over at You Are the Power. They do amazing things, and they have people from all the different caucuses, all the different things going on. I think there's a good model there to follow. So I believe that if you're chair, it is on you to handle that. Because with our previous chair, I had a conversation with her on the phone. I'm like, hey, this is something you need to handle. And so I would say the same thing to you. I would try to get on the phone with you and go, hey, dude, this is your problem to fix. How would you address that?
So what would you say is sort of the crowning or central like talking point or foundational element of You Are the Power? You just muted yourself.
Oh, no,
Oh,
I didn't.
my bad.
He did it. He did
Well,
it.
that you're the feedback. I didn't want to put you on
I am?
blast. Yes.
Well, you should have said, I see you kind of taking turns muting all of us.
Yeah, and then I figured it out. You're the problem, as usual. But
You
go
just
ahead.
now figured that out? All right, hang on. See if that helps a little bit. Okay, so I think that part of the thing that you're saying was the unify that makes you or the power work. I think there's a couple things inside of that. Is I think it's understood from the beginning. It's not this my tribe, my team mentality. Also, it's kind of something that you mentioned. They have a very specific goal.
That's
They
the
have
key.
a very
That's what I was
specific
getting at.
task that they're saying
And they're
this is what
succeeding
we're
at.
about. And if it doesn't fit into here, it's not us.
So I think that's the key. They have a goal and they're succeeding at it. So like it's D for Liberty said, human respect, certainly that's a core value. I would never betray our values or principles. But what they do is they have a goal and they succeed in their pursuit of that goal. And that's why they are able to keep this disparate coalition of many different entities, because they have Republicans, they have Democrats, they have Libertarians, they have Independents, but they're all fighting for the same thing. It's clearly identified. The specifics are case by case, but it's very clearly identified what they're trying to do and they're succeeding at it. And I think that's how you bring people together. I'm happy to play moderator sometimes. It's often the case that with a disagreement, if people just hash things out, they feel better if they feel heard. But I don't think that's the way to go about it all the time. I think you just need to drive success, and all of a sudden people forget what they were fighting about because they're winning.
Yeah. I want to get to Joe's question, but I think the only carcass, as Tubbs so eloquently put it, the only carcass that really matters is the Wu-Tang carcass, the Wu-Tang caucus.
I love the Wu-Tang caucus.
Yeah. And that's when a bunch of personalities came together for a common goal. And that's what us as libertarians need to start fixating our mindset on is, hey, we all have this common goal. Let's all work to achieve that and put our selfish ambitions aside and look at what the ultimate goal is, which is liberty. Joe, who is a member of this podcast, he's the behind the scenes guy who does our guest coordination.
One of the hardest working people in the liberty movement.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we truly appreciate you, Joe. I don't always mention it, but you're helping us make this work, and I truly appreciate that. But he was talking about LPTV, bringing that back, because what me personally, what I envisioned was a lineup, maybe 5 to 10 shows to give all people of all stripes perspective from different points of view within the Libertarian Party. But at the end of the day, everybody's goal is liberty. And so that's, my focus. And that's why I say we're starting over, because we had that divergence away from the end goal with the caucus wars. And now it's a time, and I truly appreciate what Stephen has done, because he kind of, the ship isn't listing anymore, but we have to start picking up steam.
I do think Stephen and Caleb have done a good job of riding the ship, or at least, like dodging the iceberg. You know what I mean? So with that being said, of your 6 pillars, right? Which of those do you think is the most difficult to establish?
Ooh, that's a good one. Honestly, probably membership growth. I think there's an opportunity for near exponential membership growth immediately, but you quickly reach a point of diminishing returns, because you're not just convincing people to join us, you have to convince them to leave what they were doing before. And that's a much harder barrier. That has to be a multi-year focus.
Yeah.
I will. Go ahead.
Do you think our best opportunity for membership growth are new voters? And you mentioned the youth movement or something similar to that. Like, could that be a key focus and kind of boost our numbers every year as people turn voting age? You know what I mean?
So I have 25% each in terms of importance. I've identified 4 things for membership growth. The first one is activism support. Activists, and I consider activists to be a very broad range of things, from leading protests and providing help in the field to people out there doing podcasts on their own. Like, this is the face of the movement on the ground, and we should be supporting people that are doing a good job, helping magnify them, grow their platform, and allowing them to do what they do well. The second one I have is affiliates coordination. So we can influence membership growth, I think, to a fairly large degree at the national level, but we will never be as good at the local issues as the local and state affiliates. And so we have to coordinate with the affiliates to make sure they have what they need to grow and succeed. They're the ones actually talking to people one-on-one. The third is youth outreach. And this comes back to the Charlie Kirk thing. We could have, unbelievable banner years for the next 10 years. And if we do nothing for youth outreach, all of a sudden it's just gone. We have to grow the party for the future. And the fourth is targeted recruitment. And so in this part of it, I propose that we identify a number of what I'm calling, I want to make sure I get my name right. So I can't find the name for him. So I want to make sure I get this right. Political affinity groups, there it is. And then create ambassadors. See, I had two A words and I was getting those confused. So we create ambassadors for each group. So like the two groups that it just baffles me are not 99.99 repeating percent libertarian, are Black people and Native Americans.
Yeah.
There's no one the government has fucked over more. Sorry, am I allowed? I assume I'm allowed to cuss on this, right?
Just go
not
ahead.
in Tufts' house, but
There's no two groups the government has screwed over more historically for hundreds of years than Black people and Native Americans. Look at how much success Maj is having just out there with Black Guns Matter. I've been talking to Alex Flores, who has this idea for creating like First Nations affiliates. So we recognize these tribes where the government has just with total wanton disregard ignored treaties that they've entered into. Like, why not support them? Why not get all of them on our side? Where's the outreach there? And then other groups I have, so I put everything from LGBT to Black women, Native Americans, tattoo artists, Appalachian coal miners, brewers and distillers, farmers, gun owners, pro wrestling fans, board gamers. Like, we need to target these groups of people that are likely to embrace the liberty message, and then take that bold core messaging that I was talking about, distill it in a way that is likely to appeal to that group on a mass level, and then have the right person go out and be the ambassador to talk to them.
Now, I just want to say this, that, my two boys, I brought them into the Libertarian Party. They are 30 and 28 years old. And my oldest is a tattoo artist. And my youngest one does music locally. So I'm doing my part to do what you just said.
One of them is
Oh,
Black.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So here's what I want to do. I know we're coming up on time now. And so you have mentioned Jim Ostrowski. You said you kind of like some of the things he was saying. So let me just ask you, this is kind of more of a fun one, and we'll get ready to dip out. If not you for chair, who would be the next best one?
Let me ask this better. Let me ask this in a better way. Rob, we're all assuming, and we kind of asked this to Jim, I think offline. We're assuming you win. Which one's going to be your vice chair if you could choose them?
So can we hold on that question for 1 minute, and I create a question for you to ask me since Joe is on here?
Go ahead.
Can you ask me about candidates?
Joe's got a question, or do you want us to ask?
No, it's just Joe's favorite topic. He wants to talk about candidates.
As he should.
That's our favorite thing usually. That's our favorite thing. But so you don't. You're pivoting. Got it.
No, I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to go into the details of each of the other three, maybe four if Hudak's running. We're not sure. And of course, Grumpy Gnome. But it would be remiss of me to go through this whole podcast and not mention candidates, because in the end, that like Tub, we were talking about what is the measure of success at the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
We could not have candidates for the next 3 or 4 years and be successful. And I'm not saying we should, but we could. But in 10 years, if you don't have a lot of candidates running and winning, then you're not successful. You can have all the fundraising and membership growth in the world, and eventually it fizzles out. So I have a very detailed pillar on candidate success. And the core element of it is, what can the LNC provide at the local level to help make these candidates more successful? So I talked about that communications thing. Let's put people in touch with campaign managers, Hey, you know what? I don't want to run, but I want to manage campaigns. I want to be comms directors on campaigns. I have no idea what that means. Hey, awesome. Log in here, go into the comms director site, and here's 200 people that have had success as comms directors for campaigns. I do want to run. What does that entail? Well, you're going to need a website. You're going to need a social media presence. You might need a treasurer, depending on the state. You're going to need connection to state civic groups. I have no idea how to do that. Hey, cool. Here's an off-the-shelf website you can get that comes with this package. It also has press release with customizable letterhead and suggestions on language and some press contacts and all these other things. And you know what? It's $50 because we've created it so easy to make it off the shelf, and now you can go win. One thing that the LP has that I've complained about before that recently they have been doing an incredible job of, we need to be promoting our candidates at the local level. And I'm seeing so much more of that in the recent weeks. And I will be honest, that makes me really happy. But the national party isn't going to make a significant difference in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, but they can promote candidates in my county and maybe bring in some fundraising. And as we start to see the attention at the national level and people succeeding, that's when you see fundraising starting to trickle down as well. Now we have a little bit of a war chest. Okay, maybe you don't have the $2 million that your opponent has, but you have $70,000 and you're getting some organic press growth, and that's driving more press growth. And all of a sudden you made the front page of the paper and people are starting to call it the number on your website, and you have a trained comms director who's answering. Okay, you didn't win this election, but you got 32% of the vote. Now what do? I'm going to run again in 2 years. Okay, awesome.
Or move to North Carolina instead.
I'm sorry?
Well, I got 34 and a half, but I digress.
Did you?
Yep.
Nice. I got 23 with doing nothing, just managing our governor's campaign, but people really hated.
All right, so to get us back, to get us out, not you, then who?
I mean, right now, if Wes didn't win, I would want him to be exec director. I think Wes would be an excellent chair.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
this
very
is our chance
honest.
I got nothing in closing because I just like to rush the whole time. Eric, anything in closing?
I think, Rob, and I got kind of the point of the focus on candidates. That is what is important to me. I think that's what's most important to Tub. Marcus doesn't understand why that's important. He's never been one. But the three of us have been a candidate, and we have all wished, I think, we had a little bit of support. We'd all kind of wished, like, putting the name, I'm running as a libertarian, would actually be helpful and not hurtful to a campaign. You know what I mean? So we get it. And I appreciate you. And, I'm not going to throw any other candidates for this position under the bus. But if candidates isn't one of your top priorities, you're not the chair for me. That's all.
It's got to be twofold too, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't want just anyone running, but if you have a libertarian running for every single office, that's equally as powerful as having really good candidates, but in only a few races.
Yeah. Well, that's my point is, I get, and Tub has had that critique too. And I'm not about like just, I'm kind of okay with name and ballot only candidates as long as they don't do anything to embarrass the party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Get someone on the ballot. They didn't run a strong campaign because they didn't have the money, but at least the name was there. But also, I hope they don't create a social media page and put out a bunch of nonsense that makes everyone else running look bad. You know what I mean?
And if we have an off-the-shelf package, we can head that off before it happens.
Hey, we can be like, hey, let me run your website for you. Let me be your comms.
All you got to do is put your name down.
Exactly.
Right.
Marcus?
Yeah. So I don't want to run, but what I want to do is provide a platform for the voices of the people who do. Because one thing about libertarians that I hear from non-libertarians is their party defines us. They've already defined who we are. I was like, oh, you guys are just Republicans that like weed. And I was like, that's not
Tub don't like weed.
Yeah,
I don't like weed. I guess I'm the Democrat who likes guns. Then.
Yeah. And then there's the Democrats who like guns. I mean, the fact that other people are telling or defining who we are, that's the problem. And that's what, we're getting back to Joe with the LPTV. We need to have those platforms out there where we can define ourselves, because there's nothing worse. In warfare, the government tells you who the enemy is, and they're going to paint them in the most disgusting light. If you ever look at all the enemies of the United States, there's a very negative connotation because they're dehumanizing the enemy. And that's kind of what the duopoly is doing to us. They're dehumanizing us, making us look crazy. There's only one crazy person in this podcast right now, and he has no facial hair. And,
It's there.
Like,
It's there.
I'm a little crazy.
It's there.
when you were pointing, was that me? Were you pointing?
No, that was me. That's up to Marcus right there. There's only one.
Oh, well,
off. It had nothing to do with facial
but,
hair.
Not what
Go
I'm
crazy.
seeing. You guys
That's my only request to the chair is to
Is it what, make me have facial hair?
Yeah, kick Tub out of the party.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can't make Tub grow a beard, you're out of here.
Yeah.
But
But,
Marcus, to your point, like, how important is that? Like, how much do we allow the uniparty
growing
to
a
define
beard?
who we are?
All right.
No, exactly what Rob
Look
said.
at
Quiet.
just the immigration debate, right?
Yeah.
If you ask Democrats, the libertarians are, anti-immigrant. We hate immigrants. And if you ask the Republicans, we love immigrants. They have no idea what we think.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not pro or anti-immigrant. I believe in the free movement of peaceful people. I believe in private property rights. If I want to sell my house to someone, then I should be allowed to sell my house to someone. If I want to employ someone, I should be allowed to employ someone. I don't think people should come over here from other countries and collect $5,000 checks every month. Like we have the rational perspective on all of it. And instead of putting that forward, do you know how many times, and it's not hundreds, but it's way more than I'd like, I've heard libertarians talking to normies. And the conversation turns to like, well, this is why we should have repealed the Civil Rights Act. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what you're leading with? Or, well, I don't think that dropping the nuke on Japan was a moral thing. Like, there you go. That's someone who doesn't care anymore. Like we have lost, we have not provided our people with the vocabulary and the verbal weapons to advance this ideological battle in a way that appeals to mass voters. They have to find us on their own, and there aren't enough channels for them to do that either, because they're not looking for us. They have to come across us. And that's the paradigm we need to change. We need to give people literally the vocabulary, the word structure. This is how I actually do a presentation for North Carolina comms called how to stop being so damn libertarian and talk to normies.
For real. Like that's one of the biggest issues right there, in all honesty. All right.
Tub can
okay.
kind of speak
He's
to
not
that.
done.
When you ran for office last time and you'd run into people and be like, what does the LPF stand for? And then you're like, well, it's Libertarian Party of Florida. And they're like, what does that mean?
They didn't know.
What?
I had to spend our time explaining this is who we are. It's just that's a whole nother episode. Listen, Rob, if you want, take the next minute and tell us why you are the future for the LNC, and then also how people can find you and contact you and all those type of things.
So I hope I'm not the future of the LNC. I hope the members of the party are the future of the LNC. But I would sincerely be honored to be the face of the party as the chair and to help provide some structure and some direction so that all of y'all listening and everyone else in the Liberty Movement is able to succeed to the best of your abilities, and we can really bring this thing forward, because we are wasting so much energy fighting with each other, pointing fingers, yelling, just spinning our wheels in deep, deep mud that the Uniparty has created for us. And I'm going to put the planks under the wheels so that we can drive right out and move forward. I don't remember my Facebook or Instagram name, but if you search for my name, I come
Yates.
up. Yeah, I think that's all it is. And then it's right there on the screen, but the Prosper CLT 2023 on Twitter. And I'm most active on Twitter.
All right. Thank you, sir. Of course, we've already had we had a good conversation with y'all 2 weeks ago when we had all of y'all on. We'll be some of us. Well, hang on. Maybe only me will be at National to see you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I won't be there.
Marcus.
We know Marcus
I-
isn't.
I was planning on going, and Tub and I had booked a room, and then he
And then I
kind
said,
of
hey,
like,
I don't do that. I'm not that kind of guy. And he's like, oh, well, I don't want to
I
go
was-
then.
I was like, don't say no, and you can't say no to something you haven't.
I was
know,
like, no, I'm
keep it
saying
like
no.
you-
Keep your mind
Mark's
open.
like, you don't know if you like it till you try it.
And Marcus was like, I've tried it many times. And
Marcus, if it'll get you there,
Anyway.
I'll switch to a 2-bedroom. I'm serious.
Serious, Marcus.
that was for you, Marcus.
Let-
But he realized he
let-
didn't say he'd share a room with you. He said he would get a 2-bedroom.
You can sleep outside. I'll take both beds.
What's
Oh,
the
no,
date?
no. Marcus, I'll pay for your own room.
What's the
Rob,
date
thanks
again?
for coming on, man. I guess you can hang backstage if you want to for a minute. We'll close this whole
May
thing out.
21st to 25th. And one last thing for free,
sir.
but I will be on Are You Smarter Than a Politician tomorrow night. So check it out.
So we pray for you.
Sweet.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. We want to thank Rob for coming on. We're going to,
Thank y'all for having me.
yeah, for sure.
Well,
All
what,
right.
Marcus?
What?
This is to dump him out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh,
That's
Bye,
why I gave
Rob.
him the applause.
Well,
See you, Rob.
see you later.
Hey, Rob, see you later. We
you
are
don't
a
gotta
team of
leave, though.
professionals. This is a
Rob,
listen,
you don't
this
gotta
is
Hey,
a
leave.
we're
finely
still
tuned
working some
instrument
things
around
out here.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Can't hear you.
Well-
Do the are we gonna
Well,
do
Free
our
said
thing?
this was a great show.
All right, enough for the comments.
I just want to give he's a nice guy. He helped us out with some graphics. So
Hey,
I
Rob,
wanna,
don't leave. I'm just kidding. Well, Tubb's out.
Tub left.
All right.
Yeah, Tub.
Live free or die. I'm just kidding.
As we always say at the end of this podcast, live free
Live free.
or die.
or
Thank you for
die.
watching, listening, whatever you did. God bless you.
Hit
One
the
love.
button.
It still takes a moment.